Hello, I'm Eric, and welcome to the first episode of the Eddy Edge.
Hi, I'm Avery, and this is the first edition of the Eddy Edge. Let's go to our sports reporters, Henry.
SGA Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is a Canadian NBA player for the Oklahoma City Thunder and was a huge part of the team. SGA was known for his versatile scoring and unique playing style. SGA was the 11th pick in the 2018 NBA draft. SGA first got drafted to the Hornets, then the Los Angeles Lakers, and then they immediately traded him to Oklahoma City Thunder.
This is where he was destined to be. In late 2024, the NBA season started. His team was on a roll in the season. In early 2025, SGA got the NBA MVP of the season reward. SGA brought his team to the championship game, Oklahoma City versus Indiana Pacers. There were 4 games for the championship. The MVP of the Pacers was Tyrese Halliburton.
Both teams were doing great until Halliburton tore his ACL mid-game. It was very sad and unfortunate, and he had to stay out for the next 2 championship games. After the 3rd game, it was the last game of the championship. SGA and his team fought hard for the whole 48 minutes of the game. And at the last minute, finally the game of decision ended. OKC 108 and Pacers 91. OKC wins the championship 4-3.
What did you do before you were a principal, and how did it help you with this job?
Before I was a principal, I was a school counselor, so I learned how to work with students and adults to work through the many challenges that life throws at us. And then I was an assistant principal, and so I got to learn a lot about how policies are for our entire school, and it's kind of the rules that our whole school has to follow, teachers, students, community members, and how they influence school. I also learned, how to work with kiddos when they're not following some of our rules, and how to communicate with parents about their students that aren't following our rules or find some of our values challenging to follow. So I learned some of that while being an assistant principal.
Miss Meva, where did you grow up?
I grew up near Bangor, Maine. I went to John Baptist High School, and so I grew up like 20 minutes north of there in Milford, Maine, near Old Town.
When you were little, what did you want to be when you grew up?
I wanted to be, I had 3. I wanted to be either a veterinarian and work with animals because I love animals, or I wanted to be a dancer because I love dancing. Even today, while I'm driving to work, I'm like still dancing in my car. Or I wanted to be a lawyer because I really love law and politics.
Look, let's talk about your job being a principal. What do you actually do? Can you describe a typical day as a principal?
Sure. So what a principal do, I hire teachers and staff. I make sure the whole school is following our rules. I manage the school's budget, which is like not super fun at all. It's about money and working with the budget. And I always have students learning at the forefront of my mind. So what do teachers need to be doing in the classroom? What do you guys need to be doing as students? I help solve problems and make sure that everyone feels safe. So my typical day, I usually start my day checking emails. And it's responding to parents, responding to teachers, maybe some other teachers in other schools, community members, board members. I check in at all the classrooms, make sure that you guys are okay and that your teachers are okay. And then I observe teachers and how they're teaching. I meet with students. I work on a safety plan. I work on a grant so that some of our teachers can be here and work with you guys. And I go to meetings throughout the day, either with people in the community or people at other schools.
I heard you were at an administrator conference last week. What did you learn about?
So while I was gone, I went to a session on our safety plan that our leadership team is working on. So a safety plan means if we should have somebody in our school that we don't want here, what do we do and how do we respond? So I've learned some tips on writing that plan. Or if someone's having an asthma attack, what do we do as a school? So we have a plan written for that, and that's something I'm working on right now. So I went to a session on that. I got to connect with other principals, which was really cool. I learned a little bit more about being a leader of a building and what it means to be a leader. And I got to learn how to connect with our state representatives and how to bring them into Eddy and show them all the cool things that we're doing here.
What is the most challenging thing about your job?
I think one of the most challenging is sometimes having those really hard conversations with students, with teachers, with parents. The stuff that's not really going well, those are really hard for me to have those conversations because I like to celebrate learning and celebrate what you guys do here at school and celebrate your teachers for educating you guys. Also the budget probably. I don't like working with money and with numbers. That's not what I like to do. I like to be in the classroom with you guys and celebrating your learning. So those are two of the hard things for me.
What is your favorite part about your job?
This, and being with you guys and doing fun activities like this and celebrating your learning.
Thank you so much for taking the time
To talk with us today, Miss Meva.
Well, thank you. You guys did a great job. Thank you.
I'm Avery, and I'm here with,
Miss Courier.
and today I will be asking her some questions about our school garden. So, Miss Courier, how long have you worked here at Eddy School, and when did you get involved with the gardens?
I've been at Edgecombe School for about 15 years, and I've been working in the school for about 10 years. I started in the school with Miss Gary's classroom when I was helping her with a second grade group.
That's cool. We have a beautiful orchard. What did you do to get the orchard planted? What trees did you plant?
We did a fundraising activity to raise money through Retree Us, an organization who goes around helping plant trees, orchards at schools. And we currently have 15 trees. We started with 12. We have a couple of different varieties of apples, pears, and peaches out there. And we have added, most recently last year, we've added 2 cherry trees.
That's nice. What have you planted with other classrooms these past years?
Well, just last year we added the 2 cherry trees. We have planted back-to-school gardens out there. We've added more raised beds. We've had some older wooden raised beds. We've added new metal raised beds to our gardens for back-to-school gardens. We have added a perennial garden bed out there for our pollinators to help support our orchard and our gardens. And we have an herb garden out there, so we have a lot of variety out in our garden.
That's nice. Has Miss Gary also planted plants in there?
Miss Gary has a lot of plants that have been out there. I think we have some plants that we've saved in our herb garden from when she had been working in our garden, yes.
Do you use any of those plants, vegetables, fruits for school lunches?
We have shared them in classrooms. They haven't made it into our school lunches yet. We haven't had enough to support a school lunch, but that would be a great goal to have. But we have brought them into the classroom for taste testing, and we taste test while we're out in the garden.
That's cool. Would you like to tell us a little bit about the garden?
So the garden is a wonderful educational experience that we have for the kids. We've worked really hard to bring that space to life, and we are working to make sure that we can keep it as an educational outdoor learning space that is a space that can support educational opportunities that are happening inside the classroom, and that teachers can take students outside to be able to reinforce math, literacy, social studies, and science concepts that are being taught in the classrooms.
Thank you for letting me interview you about the garden.
Yes, thank you for having me.
The first edition of the Eddy Edge.